you don't want to PDP man. No, but I know Nana. Nana's PNM all the week.
You didn't see the red clean up in there?
So we be eating up.
Am I using this breaker on here?
Yeah, use the correct one, Nana.
Nana just tried to play. He want nobody. Where are you going with this? Go through here. But, oh my gosh, Ria, you look at this one.
Where's your bra?
I don't wear bras. It's right there, Parks.
Go far put my hand.
Just put both headphones in here, which one?
Yeah, let's go. It's not plugged in here.
Go ahead.
Go through.
It's quite
Just
Make sure you're plugging Rio in. You want it back?
Yeah, back here.
Under the strap. Do you have a strap, right? Under the strap, under the
Yeah, just there's some elasticity there. Go again. Go again. I'm hearing you loud and clear from the both of them.
Alright, use anyone.
Yeah.
Fully Texas.
Aliyah, your hands are very soft.
Oh, thank you.
They're warm. Not like, don't touch me. Sorry. Hello. How much feel about
Little did you know.
dogs? What? I am so not entertaining that conversation. We're putting this. You, Anton, we're going with this. Him side or him side? You know, I never know. Is it late enough? I'm gonna have to stop. I'm gonna have to stop making those jokes. You know, it's not late enough or Eddie. I'm gonna have to stop.
One who calls the name.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, but it reminds me so. That's what I said. I'm gonna stop. I just said, where were you? You didn't hear what I said?
I call him at 7:45 every morning, 6:45 every morning. I'm very sure she's there.
Can I have the rundown, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
What you doing now?
Two, 1, 2. This.
Yeah. No.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place.
Yo. Thank you. Check, check. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2.
Yeah.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Morning. Yes, it's Tobago Updates morning show. It's 7 a.m. and today is Monday, the 8th of November, 2021. Welcome to all our viewers joining us via the various television stations as well as those of you joining us online. It's Monday morning. I'm Julian Skeet.
And good morning, Tobago. I am Ria Richardson George. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad. Good morning, Caribbean. And good morning to our viewers online.
Giving thanks always, Ria. Giving thanks
all
indeed.
The time.
So we've had quite an eventful weekend. We would have seen in the first instance the return of our Prime Minister, from the conference out there in Glasgow. And going beyond that, making announcements with regards to the relations and partnerships that the country continues to maintain and in fact has built over a period of time. And further to that, I think interesting or the focal point for many was the reminder that the state of emergency comes to an end and there is no immediate plan to extend.
That's right.
I'm not sure the extension is that easy anyway.
No, and not at this point, but that's all happening by the end of the month. But just to go back on what you were saying a little while ago with regards the conference that the Prime Minister is back from, and I want to go back to Mia Mottley's, the Prime Minister of Barbados' contribution, during her contribution when she mentioned that leaders must lead. I think if we can take anything away from what she said in terms of, as it relates to the roles and responsibilities of our leaders must lead. And, we're looking at the upcoming elections, our THA elections coming up. Less than a month away, Julian. We are less than a month away. A lot has been happening on that front.
Yeah, it's been very interesting. I would have seen yesterday, we had this startup with the official launch of the candidates that took place with the PNM, and you would have seen, as some would say, they brought in the full forces because apart from the political leader of the Tobago Council, Tracy Davidson Celestine, we would have also had Dr. Keith Rowley himself, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and political leader of the PNM. So he's making no joke and he's taking no chances by ensuring that he is here even with the start off of the campaign that took place yesterday. Quite interesting in terms of the posturing and what seems to be the overall focus of the elections from the context of the campaign of the PNM. And in looking at certain aspects, because I didn't get to see all the presentations, but the general tone of the speeches that came forward reminded me very much that the incumbent always has a more challenging task, and they have to understand you cannot just come and make promises again after 20 odd years. You've got to take on that closer responsibility to explain what I have done within the time I have been there, and then go further to see what I can do if you give me more time there. So it's always a task.
Well, we are locked and loaded, and we are watching to see what is going to come of it. I think at this point, Julian, we are a different people in terms of what we are willing to accept and what we are not willing to accept. People know what they want at this stage of the game. So it's just let's just listen on to see who is coming with the best slate, who's coming with the best promises. Because that's what it is at this point. It's just promises. All right. So we have that on the horizon. As well, the Ministry of Health is to roll out the third vaccination doses to specific groups of people, among them HIV patients. Now, Julian, we are at dose 3. I mean, there was so much skepticism about dose 1, dose 2. And now we are looking at the third dose. Yeah,
and I feel like, I've made the point, and some may or may not agree. I think this is the fundamental flaw that we continue to make with the use, with this dishing out or this ruling out of an additional dose. Now, if you are getting to the point where we are saying that a third dose is required in order to facilitate and to better prepare persons to cope with the challenges of the COVID-19, now it's critical that there must be some effective rollout of education. So I didn't expect the minister, nor do I expect the Division of Health, Wellness and Family Development to just come out and tell me now that we are now doing a third dose and we're going to the most vulnerable in society. No, I expect you to understand your responsibility to say that in doing that, we will now ensure you have people on every media station, every television station, every radio station, medical practitioners, and I'm not talking the politicians here to waste my time, medical practitioners that can give the information. Further to that, you indicate the availability of doctors. These are the numbers you can call if you're in South, if you're in Tobago, etc. So you go beyond just what is the standard plan, for the simple fact that what you have done when you announced that as minister last week and you have not announced any follow-up to it just yet is you are now leaving room all weekend for speculation, and it has started. Where people saying we're going on to a third and are not even comfortable with the fact yet that to guarantee that the first is working. So it's something to be mindful of. On our lineup this morning, nonetheless, we continue and we are in the election season. Fully. And this morning we start with Dr. Denise Soyafat-Angus, political leader of the Innovative Democratic Alliance, and we will certainly look forward to information specific to that. But folks, she's not just here with us to discuss her plans and her intentions, but this morning we get the exclusive focus on the launch of the candidates. Some say it's going to be 2, some say it's her alone, some say it's 5, some say it's 15. You will hear from Dr. Denise Soyafat-Angus shortly. Who else do we have on the lineup, Ria?
Then coming up right after, we will be chatting with Anthony James, political analyst, about Tobago's political matters. So Anthony James is going to be joining us, and we're talking about all fronts. Okay, so it's the People's National Movement, the Unity of the People, the IDA, the PDP, and, you know, we don't know who else is lurking on the horizon.
Yes, and we close off this morning with Pastor Joanne Alibi Dyer, and she will be doing a book launch here this morning, and she's the author of the book Kairos, and we look forward to that interview as well. God knows we need prayers now more than ever, so Pastor brings that right mix for us as we look towards and we work towards what is that overall focus on December 6th. Quite naturally, Tobago, that's one of the focal points for us now, getting to that election day.
All right, well, Julian, just before we go, we need to send out some birthday greetings at this time. So yesterday, my nephew, Savion George, celebrated his birthday. Along with him, my sister-in-law celebrated her birthday as well. So happy belated birthday going out to you, Savion George and Auntie Elaine Toby. Happy birthday going out to you guys. And today, Brian Ashby also celebrated his birthday yesterday, my good friend from Lamy Road, Argyle, Tobago. So lots of love going out to you guys. And today my good friend Cindy Charles, my classmate, my schoolmate, celebrating her birthday today. So lots of love going out to you this morning, Cindy Charles. Have a great day, and love from 5B class of 89.
Yes, and we want to continue the shout-outs this morning. Kanika Murray, Simeon Cupid, Marva Baker, Latoya Anderson, Leanna Charles, Shamika Trim, Nigel Davidson, Marvin Jahor, Keith Thomas, Meloman Melville, and we continue to thank you for sharing the love and support for Tobago Updates morning show. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Whoa, it's the Quartz Black Friday sale. With the best-selling brands, best deals, and best offers all month long, you don't want to miss your chance to save on wow deals. Save on smart TVs, major appliances, furniture, bedroom and dining, with lots more to choose from. Shop today with Quartz Ready Finance and pay nothing for 90 days. Don't miss this Black Friday sales event, only at Quartz, bringing value home.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Morning. Good morning again to you viewers and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. On our program this morning, we're chatting with Dr. Denise Soyafat Angus, political leader of the IDA, and that is the Innovative Democratic Alliance. Now, viewers, we are talking politics this morning. Not just politics, but we're talking about the launch of the IDA candidates. Good morning and welcome to you, Dr. Angus.
Good morning, Ria. What did I just say? Morning.
I love yes. You're free to morning it here. You know, it's good to have you on the program with us always. Now we're talking about the launch of the candidates. Before we get into that, how confident are you at this time that, you know, the candidates that you're going to present before the people of Tobago are who you want? Because there was a lot of skepticism about whether you were sending up 5 candidates, whether it was going to be 12, 15, whether it was just going to be you were going up as an independent.
Yes. And we have taken our time at the IDA to choose our candidates well. I remember at our first blessing of the office, and Pastor Mapp said to us, you know, in leadership, you need people of good character, men and women of good character. And therefore, we took our time in, you know, taking them out in batches, making sure we have wholesome people who we can present to the people of Tobago. And when we present them, that people see themselves in the lineup. You see yourselves in young people who are there, in mature persons, in the experienced, and different church affiliations. So we wanted that mix, and that is what we were able to achieve to date.
Okay. All right, well, let's get right into things because, you know, time is short. So give us an idea of what we can expect, what the people of Tobago can expect as it relates to the IDA slate.
Well, like I said, you see young people. Yes, we have persons who are below 30. We have persons who are in their 30s, 40s, and 50.
Okay.
So you have the wide range, and I think that is what really counts. When persons look at themselves, they see the range, and of course the gender balance.
Okay.
The gender balance,
Male,
because we
female.
have yes, we have at least 5 women on the team.
Okay. So tell us what we're looking at this time. You are here this morning to launch the candidates.
Well, I'm here to share, yes, the candidates with the people of Tobago, and of course your region.
Definitely.
I understand you're on the regional map.
Yes.
Yes, and so we have beginning in let's say Bagatelle, Bacalet. We have Keon Clark.
Right.
Okay, and I think I sent some pictures to you all. I'm not sure what order they're in.
Okay.
We also have. Are they going to put up the pictures?
I think as we go along. Yeah.
As we
you
go
can
along.
ahead. Yes.
Okay.
Keon Clark.
Keon Clark. We then have also I expected them to roll the pictures, and I could just.
Okay, if we can
yes.
have the pictures rolled
so
as
I can
we
share
in
yes.
any order.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, in
yes.
any order. So we have Keon Clark.
So we have
right?
Keon Clark, Bacalet, Bacalet. Of course, yours truly, Dr. Denise Soyafat Angus for Bethel New Grange.
Right.
We have Adoni Jacob for Bethesda Lekatu.
Right.
We have Marlon Brizan for Blackrock Plymouth, and We all know the Brizan name from his father, who was a previous assemblyman.
Yes.
Yes. We have Kay Trotman for Bonaccord Crown Point. We have Leroy George for Lambo Lowlands. We have Keish Gibbs for Mason Hall Mariah. And Keish is one of our youth members. Avenel Manswell for Mount St. George Goodwood. Stacy Herbert, Palatuvia Lansome, Charlottesville Speyside. Aldrin Phillips for Scarborough Mount Grace.
Right. Okay, so we're talking 12 candidates? 12
Yes,
candidates?
12 candidates so far.
Give us an idea, what's happening with the other 3? Is it 12? Are we staying at 12 candidates?
Well, we do know that up until nomination day, which is next week, Monday, you can still have candidates. We do have a couple of open conversations, so that's left to be seen.
Okay, so no hint as to who else you're looking at, no?
No.
Now, Dr. Angus, let me ask you, the word on the ground here is that, it's rumored that you are a front for the People's National Movement, and this is in an effort, the IDA, the establishment of the IDA is in an effort to split the votes. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely not. If we look at the political landscape in January, we would know that persons in, when you look at the political landscape in January, we would know that persons were uncertain. The electorate was uncertain about where they wanted to go. And that's why we ended up with 6 on one side and 6 on another.
Right.
You know, out there, people just jokingly say, well, you know, we fed up on one side, but we're afraid of the other. And that's really what people are taking January to mean. And that is why the IDA felt that we had a responsibility to give persons another option. Give them another option for change. I think persons across Tobago, a majority of persons, are convinced that change must happen. It's been a long time, 20 years, and you know, that is the history of political parties in Tobago. Every 20 years we change hands, and therefore persons know or feel that change must come, and therefore the question is, you know, what kind of change do you want? Is it change that you trust, or change that is unpredictable?
And why is it that you believe that the IDA is that party to bring that change or to make that difference to the people of Tobago? What would you be bringing forward that would be different from what we, the people of Tobago, have experienced for a number of years? What is different about the IDA?
Well, first of all, you have a leader of integrity. You know, I am committed to transparency and accountability. Additionally, our focus is going to be on, you know, I've said it from the start, the people, the economy, and the environment. And doing it through a private sector focus. Our economy has been hit really hard. Yes, economies worldwide have been hit hard, but in Tobago, it's been really rough. And the only way we can truly come out of this strong is by focusing on building a private sector in Tobago. And so that will be our real focus, ensuring that when we come out of this, that we are stronger as a people across the board. And so that is where our focus will be. Building the private sector, getting more persons into entrepreneurship, and sustainable entrepreneurship, because you see so many businesses starting, but then they kind of fizzle out. And we will be building systems to assist persons in ensuring their success in developing businesses and actually growing small businesses into larger businesses. You know, one of the challenges we have on the island is the small population size, and we would also be working towards, for want of a better term, artificially increasing that population size so we can serve and generate business, you know, growth.
Right.
Additionally, we will also focus businesses on the fact that just using Tobago alone as your target will not get you anywhere. And we have to focus on external to us. Yes, you serve the people of Tobago, but always focus on the wider audience that you have, just as you all are doing the national and the regional captive audience that we have there close to us.
Okay, now we really appreciate this. Now, there's been talk on the ground here about a debate. There's been a push for a debate. Would you be open, would you as the political leader of the IDA be open to a political debate with some of the other entities?
Well, I think that's, discussing a debate, there's so many facets to that that you have to ensure is in place before you can actually say yes. We have been open to discussions. So far, Tobago Civil Net has been hosting a series of those.
Yes,
and we have participated because I think it's healthy. We will see when the time comes.
Yeah, I was privileged yesterday afternoon to have heard Dr. James on the platform with two of the PDP candidates, two of the IDA's candidates, and I was really impressed. And I was saying to Devon Adana this morning, you know, I did not know about the Tobago Civil Net before, but definitely, you know, we're keeping an eye out there.
And I really want to commend them for the work that they're doing, because that is what we need right now.
Bringing out the information.
Yes, but independent voices and groups who are not afraid in this political landscape to have their voices be heard and to create a platform for other voices to be heard.
Okay.
So we must be commended.
Well, thank you so much. Viewers, we're going to have another run of the candidates just before we go to the break. So just before we go, some of the IDA's candidates are vying for this up-and-coming THA election, December 6th. So these are the candidates before you representing the Innovative Democratic Alliance. All right, so we are going to go to the good stuff, even as the candidates run. And in our good stuff today, Ms. Latoya Anderson, owner of Toya's Designs Plus. She has been a motivator to any person that crosses her path. She has a passion for sewing. She has gravitated to mostly sharing the knowledge for mainly kids. Imagine having your 6-year-old making their very own outfits. Keep up the good work, Latoya. She offers online sewing classes for anyone as young as 6 years old. Check her out at Toya's Designs Plus Facebook. If you know someone or anything you would like to have featured on The Good Stuff, you can email us at info@tobagoupdates.com, call or WhatsApp 284-6597. Viewers, remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Whoa! It's the Quartz Black Friday sale. With the best-selling brands, best deals, and best offers all month long, you don't want to miss your chance to save on wow deals. Save on smart TVs, major appliances, furniture, bedroom and dining, with lots more to choose from. Shop today with Quartz Ready Finance and pay nothing for 90 days. Don't miss this Black Friday sales event. Only at Quartz, bringing value home.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Morning, Tobago. It's 7:26 a.m. and this is Tobago Updates Morning Show. We are coming to you live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. And in this segment, yes, we are in that season where the focus is on December 6th. Yes, I know some of you may say, I haven't seen him in a bit, and for a while I wondered if he was out of the politics. This morning we welcome in this segment Anthony James, political activist, as we speak to Tobago's political matters. No stranger to the political landscape here in Tobago, and in fact one could also say very much at a national level, representing that interest and continuing to be that voice, that voice of hope and reason. As we start this morning's interview, I know you sometimes have a perspective that doesn't always conform to the norm. And I want you to give us, in summary at the start, where would you say that we are at now? We have just had the transition from 12 to 15 seats within the political landscape, going to the parliament, etc., decisions being made. And we are now heading towards the December 6th election with the Tobago House of Assembly return to the polls. Let me hear your perspective as we begin there in looking at the political matters.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and congratulations to the team for bringing an alternative forum like this, and I wish you all the best as you go forward. It's important to look at where we are, to plot on the graph where we are historically. All right, so we have come here from Africa just about 400 years ago, and for any human being, the idea is to progress, and it's very important to have your rights. Your right must be the basis of all your considerations. So this morning, as all mornings, we must task ourselves from the perspective of our right, so that we have had elections. The last elections, the House Assembly was not constituted. The system basically crashed, and then there was a move in the parliament illegally. But the parliament does not have the authority to, after the House Assembly have been constituted since 1996, because in 1996 it truly became a legislature. Not perhaps in the fullest sense, but the House Assembly is mandated to come up with its own legislative remedies, and it has done so in the past. In the case of Claudia Groom-Duke, when that seat was added, not the seat, but the seat in the executive, so to speak, was added to make her a secretary. So we see that the House Assembly can do that for itself. The politicians, they are aware, so that they ask the chief secretary here to address the nation. You remember that?
Yes.
And call on the Prime Minister. But remember, the House Assembly was dissolved, and the call he made was a legislative call, but he was not in the legislature. He's only in the executive. All the actions of the parliament after that were illegal. When the system is crushed like that, the only person who can really intervene is the president.
Also, you are saying this intervention
was illegal,
should have come on the part of the president. How exactly was the president supposed to intervene in this matter?
It has to come from the president, because the Constitution is saying in, can't remember the executive section, in 74, that the executive authority in Trinidad and Tobago is vested in the president. And in fact, the only person who exercises executive authority is the president, because it continues to say, and he, having that male bias, may exercise that authority either directly or through officers subordinate to him. What you're seeing there is the president is at the head and at the heart of the entire society. It's just that the people are ignorant of the Constitution, and the way they originally practiced it, it appeared as though the Prime Minister was in charge. But the Prime Minister is in fact a subordinate officer and the authority for the judiciary, the parliament, the executive, everything is vested in the president. And if the system self-destruct, is the president to intervene.
So the question would be, by virtue of our constitution as well, the parliament is empowered in terms of being able to make laws.
Yes.
One would say that what we saw was an attempt to make a law, to attempt to correct the situation.
Yes. Well,
are you therefore saying that the parliament was wrong in making such a law, or
of
the
course.
use of the law is where the inaccuracy comes about?
Well, you can call it use of law, but I'm saying in all that we do, we are still guided by the Constitution. We're not necessarily in a parliamentary democracy. We're in a constitutional democracy. And in any case, the president is the head of the parliament too. But the president, as I said, you having presidents who in office and don't know the rules and function at the same time. But if you have a situation where it is, as it will, clearly now there's a presumption that all Tobago qualifies for is to be under Trinidad or to be without rights. Because the system self-destruct, why is there the assumption that I'm going to so-called fix a law to send back Tobago under Trinidad again in a context, in an environment such as we have 400 years of slavery, and this conversation has been going on for a long time. So it was a chance to pause. Even as we hear, we must understand that Tobagonians are going to the polls and living without our sovereignty, and that's the basis of all your politics, that you must be sovereign. Why would you go into an institution and then you have to be answerable to somewhere else? And we all know that the potential of Tobago is not being fulfilled, not being realized.
So
you follow what I'm saying?
Let's go to one of what would have been one of the more recent topical issues, and I'm sure we will see it coming back on the landscape here again. We heard up to yesterday with the launch of the candidates through the PNM, we heard mention of the fact regarding the move for that self-governance and where it is at currently in terms of, both between the political leader for the Tobago Council as well as the political leader at the national level, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, giving an indication that we should see that continue. What are your hopes for that, particularly past December 6th? Because it is clear that nothing will happen between now and December 6th with regards to it. What are your hopes for that past December 6th?
And that's a reasonable and probing question. I don't have any hope based on the intent, the declared intent of the government, the party itself, the parties in Trinidad, those who occupy the parliament in Trinidad. Because just recently we had the matter before the Joint Select Committee, and we would have seen the attitude of all those who comprise the Joint Select Committee, and they were very adamant that Tobago must remain under Trinidad. So even when they're talking about democratic elections, is this really a democratic elections? Because of the fact that a man can go out and vote, does that really mean it is democratic? If I'm voting, but at the end of it I can't get past, I can't get to my right, is it really democratic? And then again, I heard the Prime Minister on the news on my way up here from their meeting last night, talking about within the next 4 years how they're going to continue to do this autonomy thing. When it comes to Trinidad, Tobago seems to be just crawling. Tobago is crawling. But at the same time, Trinidad has its full sovereignty. And they even admitted it in the parliament in 1977. Because to accept a motion, my brother, for internal self-government, you are actually admitting that the right of the people is being violated because you have accepted a motion for internal self-government. So you were saying that Trinidad and Tobago was not truly an independent people. Tobagonians and Trinidadians have not been collectively independent. That's an admission of that. And I'm saying we must be better students in the life of politics. In our own life, we must be better students.
I want to get your perspective as well. One of the things touted about is that because the bill would not have been passed in the parliament just yet, you heard talks relating to and coming from some of the the political leaders that Tobago was robbed of an opportunity to get more. Based on your understanding of the current bill, which offers, in terms of the just over 6%, and they're saying we could have gotten a higher percentage if the bill was passed. Is there anything currently restricting us from getting a higher percentage in terms of the budgetary allocation?
Well, what the
dispute resolution.
Dispute resolution offered was 4.03%.
Correct.
At the lower level and 6.9 in the higher level. So you're correct to say there isn't anything that prevents, or I shouldn't say that, not constitutionally, but politically.
Correct.
Because there's an attitude in Trinidad, and that's an excellent observation. So you're actually seeing, even where that is concerned, you're seeing the intent that Tobago is always getting 4.03. In the Keith Rowley time, they carried the highest percentage was 4.04. He actually had an increase, 4.04. What happened to 6.9? What happened to 7%? There's nothing wrong with them even going above 7%. There's nothing wrong with that. But what you're seeing, it is obvious to the people of Tobago that Trinidad is not willing. They are not of the mindset. It's all hypocrisy, because the intention, the deeds are there, the works are there. And you have to wonder now how that speaks to us. How does that reality inform our minds? Lord Nelson has a very important philosophy when he said all of us are one family. But I don't think in Tobago we understand that we have one family here. We are one family with one destiny, and we need to construct our politics of that. To answer your question, Trinidad is not relenting to Tobago. So the Prime Minister is not speaking the truth, because we see where he was up here on the other station and on one of the radio stations, and he was telling the host, well, if we take what they offered in the Joint Select Committee, is back to Act 40 of 1996, and that is where the elections are being held again. Act 40 of 1996, and Tobagonians, we like sheep or like fowl, sorry to say, trying our best to go back into the fowl run, trying our best to go back into the wilderness, because it's 400 years. It's similar to the history of the children of Israel. The House Assembly, the institution, came back in 1980. So in 2020, we actually reached 40 years. And we have 20 divided between the DSC, NAR, and the PNM as 2020 split. And it happened in the year 2020. It's something significant God is doing. What happened on January 25th, earlier this year? God shut the system down because of his love for Tobagonians, to free Tobago. Tobagonians, we have not seen it, and we are trying our best to break down back the walls or the gates of the wilderness to go back into bondage. But what God started, he will finish. And after December 6, they are not going back. We are going forward into the promised land. God will do a mighty work.
So what you're saying ultimately is that the responsibility of whoever comes out at the helm come December, they have to continue that fight and that effort to attempt to use your words, to rescue Tobago?
Well, that is our incumbency as a people. We have no life outside and below our rights. But what I'm saying, I am doubting very much that the House Assembly will be constituted.
Interesting.
Coming December 6th. But let me just see this also, because this is very critical to the whole subject matter. Now, you have a case where the House Assemblymen have been, I shouldn't say assemblymen, the candidates who won their seats have been drawing salary. Are you aware of that?
Yes, they've been sworn in by the president.
Sworn in by the president, and they have been drawing a salary, but the House Assembly is not constituted. And in my judgment, what they are doing is illegal.
But is that a technicality specifically when it comes to the law? Because, the first act, the Tobago House of Assembly Act, from my understanding, it speaks to the very first step is to swear in the assemblymen, which the president would have done.
Definitely.
And then the assemblymen now have a responsibility in terms of going to the House to convene the first meeting and to elect a presiding officer and so on to move forward.
So that the first step is not abstract, it is contingent that the subsequent steps will be taken. because he says immediately after. So this step up here is not isolated by itself, right? So that, and the question is, if they are drawing a salary, then we are presuming that the House Assembly is constituted. And the question is, when do they stop drawing that salary? And when is that House dissolved? Because you're not going to an election. Are they still drawing salary? But more crucially, they're saying that was the Assembly now, therefore, was consummated. If the House Assembly was consummated, then it needs to be dissolved. I'm saying that just to show the confusion going on in our minds and how we are not really on top of the game where our constitution or law is.
So in that circumstance, are you saying that immediately upon that situation, we should have just returned to the polls with 12 seats to go at it again?
Well, good question again. I'm not just saying just return to the polls, because what happened is that the law itself would have self-destruct. The law itself. The fact that they couldn't constitute after the 3 days, which the law says. What the law also says. And so it is wrong to call them assemblymen, because the law says the House Assembly shall consist, and I'm sure you know this, of the 12 assemblymen. The law says that the secretaries,
right,
the councillors. It says, I think it's section 5. The House Assembly shall be what? A body corporate. And shall consist of all these. You know it?
Yes.
So if that doesn't exist, how do you have assemblymen? And it is they who forfeited it, because what prevented, the law did not prevent them from constituting the House. It is an action that they took not to constitute the House, but at the same time they're going to pay themselves. Now, if there's no assembly again after December the 6th, are they continuing to pay themselves? When does the term end? The term of these so-called assemblymen, when does it end?
Yeah, I mean, very, very interesting issues that you're looking at. We want to touch on at least, one or so other area.
Yeah.
So give me a sense as to what do you believe outside of the focus we've just been chatting about would be one or two of the main issues that Tobagonians should really pay very close attention to over the next few weeks as we head towards December 6th. In your opinion?
Well, I don't know. For me, from where I am, I guess we know this is my passion. My passion is that Tobago should be free, right? Because I don't see us achieving anything meaningful if, in fact, we are not free. I am quite surprised, really, that Tobagonians are so eager, to go back to the polls when you've just been fighting for something. It has been denied you. We should have been uniting to fight. But I guess I'm being naive to really, in my consideration of the body politic and the citizens we have and so on. And maybe it's too much for them really. So God has to literally intervene and block them again to see where to get us to go in the right in the right direction. But
let me pull on that. Where do you see, and let's speak to the future here one time, where do you see as the right direction for Tobago from the perspective
of the Trinidad? And I'm saying it has to happen within this Dr. Rowley term as Prime Minister. Because in order to have the constitutional reform, you had asked a question early on concerning the autonomy and so on, and the bill. Because in the first place, that bill did not offer Tobago sovereignty. So that was a no-go in the first place. There's no sovereignty proposed by the bill prepared, crafted by Mr. Orville London and Hochoy Charles. That bill forfeited the right of the people of Tobago. The future of Tobago is a sovereign Tobago, where we have our own head of state, we have our own head of executive, and our own executive free control all our resources, our land, our sea and air. It's not something that we can't do, because immediately all Tobagonians are potentially prosperous. When you tabulate the resources now operating in the Tobago water, my brother, every Tobagonian. People have to see it, Every single Tobagonian is potentially a prosperous, wealthy person once that happens. So the way that will happen is that the government of Trinidad and Tobago legally, which is really a Trinidad government, will continue to be in office. What has to emerge in Tobago is that there will be a complete government in Tobago, beginning first of all in principle and allowing Tobago to make its own constitution. But the principle kicks in. The president should supervise the process so that you have the government in Tobago and Tobago responsible for everything here. And the government in Trinidad can't do anything in Tobago unless the government in Tobago gives the okay to do that. And then you arrive together. Trinidad will have to make their own constitution because legally the constitution they're operating in is not theirs. It is legally Trinidad and Tobago, practically Trinidad. They will craft their own constitution in the meantime, and together we arrive at 2025 where we can come into a confederation. I think the future of Tobago and the future of Tobago and Trinidad is in a confederal relationship like what exists in the OACS states, where you have one currency, you have freedom of movement, freedom of trade, and so on. You form a real partnership. So I can help you. And you can help me. I think that's
so what you're speaking to is ultimately moving towards that federation.
That is what that
in terms of within Trinidad and Tobago. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Anthony James. Viewers, you know the extent of his wealth and knowledge could take us days to be able to discuss the political issues, but we only just have one segment for this morning, and I'm certain we would hear from Mr. Anthony James again over the course of this season, because you know politics is certainly his passion. We want to once again thank all our viewers and those for tuning in. We see Auntie Annette Alfred online, Erla Hazel. We see a number of persons joining us via the live. Denise Wright, Abby Smith-Warner, Roxanne Grant, good morning to you all, and thank you very much for joining us here live on the Tobago Updates morning show. And as we prepare to go to a break, we want to remind you, remember to share the live, share the live. Let's connect as we continue to interact with the entire Caribbean region here via Tobago Updates morning show. We'll be right back.
Whoa! It's the Quartz Black Friday sale. With the best-selling brands, best deals, and best offers all month long. You don't want to miss your chance to save on wow deals. Save on smart TVs, major appliances, furniture, bedroom and dining, with lots more to choose from. Shop today with Quartz Ready Finance and pay nothing for 90 days. Don't miss this Black Friday sales event. Only at Quartz, bringing value home.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
This day in Tobago history. Did you know that on today, November 8th, 1991, Charlottesville United stood tall against Aston Villa's finest? 30 years ago today, Dwight York was preparing to showcase his football skills to fans in the East alongside his former Malta Carib coaching school teammates. The game was an exhibition match against Windward Football League giants Charlottesville United. The Seville United team was at the time skippered by Steve Murray and included Pierre Caesar as well as York's former Signal Hill Secondary School teammate under Bertil Sinclair, Dale Patrice. Playing with Dwight York Forced Coaching School was Colvin Hutchinson, who had been recalled to the national training squad at the time, along with junior World Cup defenders Dale Boucher and Hayden James. Also playing were Ian Nelson and Vivian Thomas. At the time, York was a consistent starter for Team Aston Villa in the English Football Premier League, scoring in the club's last 5 league outings. Dwight had only been with Aston Villa for 2 years out of what would be his 9-year arrangement with Aston Villa. The coaching school clash against Charlottesville United would see the Tobago East team victorious despite a valiant effort by York's side. My name is Devon Adana, and you've been watching This Day in Tobago History. Back to you.
Viewers, welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We're chatting today with the Pastor Joanne Alibi Dyer, and we're talking here this morning, wife, mother, pastor, now author. Good morning and welcome to you, Pastor Dyer.
Pleasant good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you on the program. This is an honor for us. Now, wife, mother, pastor, now turned author. What prompted this book? Where did this come from?
This book was actually, first let me say good morning to all of you. This book was actually prompted 4 years ago. I was having sleepless nights, couldn't sleep, and I tried everything, how to get the sleep going, and nothing was working. And then, you know, prayer always our source. I went and I started to intercede and ask God, what is going on? What is happening here? And he said, I want a book. I want a book. And I said, Lord, how am I going to do this? I have no experience in anything like this. However, sleep would not come. So I began on my iPad every night trying to put in pieces together. And I started to write. And he said to me, seasons, different seasons of your life. And I started to jot my notes down. And what I found happening is that every time I would put in the work at night, sleep would come after. It was so divine that anything else I used to try and go to sleep would not work. But as long as I put the work in for the book, sleep came after. So Kairos is actually something that is not me, it's actually divine. It was instructed by God, and I'm just being obedient and fulfilling this call. I call it a manual for seasons, that it's gonna reach somebody and help them in their season.
Now, we have the name of the book. We have the book on the screen. Kairos. What is the meaning of Kairos?
Kairos means seasons. And at that time when I wanted to look at what is the name of the book or how to name the book, God would have taken me through seasons of my life. And as I started to write, this is how the journey began to flow with the book. Different seasons. So my not so good seasons, my hard seasons, my bad seasons. And this thing started to minister to me so much that it was evident that the book had to be called its Hebrew name, Kairos, seasons.
When you were going through your seasons, did you think so far ahead? Did you think, hey, there could be a book in the, in the making here?
Wow.
What were you thinking while you were going through your, because you mentioned your not so good seasons.
Yes.
So seasons come in different forms. But when you were going through those not so good seasons, what were you thinking at the time?
Well, at the time, there was no idea that this would actually become something that I can put out there to help someone else. Because one of my seasons is the waiting season. And if you would look on the book, you will see a picture of my pregnancy. This is my pregnancy of just last year, 2020. And
I just realized that there was a recent pregnancy.
Yes, this is my pregnancy of just 2020 of my son Terrence. And in one of my seasons in the book is the waiting season. And in that season, I had no kids. In that season, I waited for a long time to have children. And in that season, I cried, I begged, I felt alone. There was a real lonely season in that season. And in that season, I encouraged women how to wait on God, because I was trying everything to conceive. I was trying to put myself out there and drink this and do this and all of these things.
Did everything you were told to do.
And nothing worked. Nothing worked. It was in God's timing. It had to be in God's timing. Nothing worked, Rhea, nothing. And today I'm a mother of 3 kids, divinely done by God, all by God. He gets all the glory.
That's right. Now, I know about the first 2, but you
Yes.
said that the book came out as a result of the 3rd pregnancy, which
Yes.
was the son.
Yes.
Were you trying to have this son, or was it just, whatever happened?
Yes. There was no plan for this son. For a matter of fact, it was 2 and I was good.
You were done.
Right. And then, even 2020 was a trying season for me as well. And when we found out I was having my son, I was so elated. I was excited because, I always wanted this boy child. And when God would have revealed this to me, hey, you're getting this, I was happy. I remember the nurse asked me, is this child going to be received well in the home? I said, yes, this child will be received. I want this child so bad that it doesn't matter what I have to do, this child must live. Diet, whatever, I'm going to do it. He is a promise. He has to be here. It is his timing. And this book just brings together that season. It just brought all the flavors together. Kairos, what a season. 9 months of different seasons. Three different trimesters. One you feel to dying.
Go ahead.
The second one, you're now getting fresh air. And by the time you hit the third one, you're ready to go in the grave now. You're crawling,
and that is the reality. That is the reality of it. Some persons say that pregnancy, there's a very thin line between life and death when a woman is pregnant and about to bring forth. Now, with regards to the book, Kairos, how would you describe the book? I heard you mention a little while ago that it is a manual. I've noticed that within the pages, that at the end of almost every chapter, there is something for the reader to do. You have a responsibility. So it's not just to read and take in, but now what do you do with the information that you now have?
The thing about this book, why I think this book is such an excellent book, is because I see it as a manual. At some point in every person's life, we are going to visit either similar seasons or different seasons. Though our faces may differ, sometimes our seasons are not that much different. And my hope is to accomplish with this book is to help someone who's struggling in that season, that they use this book as a manual, not only to read, but self-introspection. How can I get through this trying season? How can I get through this season when everyone is leaving me? I feel abandoned. I feel rejected. I feel like I'm dying. I feel like people are leaving me. They are ahead of me. I'm behind. How do I move from one chapter in my life to another chapter in my life? And I hope that with this book, it helps navigates people into their right seasons. Because I've come to realize that if you don't know your season, it is the most detrimental thing to humanity, because Rhea, you can miss important details. It's like a season for planting and you don't know a season for planting. You can miss the most important season of putting seed in the ground. So I believe that seasons, they come together to create who we are. It's a combination of who we become in life. So if we can be navigated right, we could bear right.
All right. Now, how can persons get a hold of the book? And this is just before we wrap up.
Yes. So the book is here. It's here in Tobago as well. However, my first batch of copies is all sold out. So I'm actually awaiting a second batch of copies that's coming in November month end. So you can get me at 344-6495 and you can place an order there and that would be delivered to you. However, if you are online and you can go to Amazon.com, you can find Kairos there in the Kindle version and also in the paperback version. So it's just $12 US for the paperback version, and for the Kindle version $6.99. So you can have it at both ends. You can have it delivered to you right here in Tobago, or you can go online via Amazon.com, type in Kairos, Joanne, Alibi, Dyer, and you would see it come up there where you can have it in your Kindle version or your paperback copy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for chatting with us this morning, Pastor Joanne Alibi Dyer. Viewers, we're going to leave it there for today. We thank you so much for joining us on the Tobago Updates morning show. Later this evening, 7:30, you can catch Patricia Nicholson for our upcoming newscasts. Have a great day. We'll see you. Be safe. Remember to wear your mask, sanitize, and socially distance.